Ladies and gentlemen, take a moment to look up, beyond our everyday lives and beyond the atmosphere into the vast expanse of space. I know, a pretty direct introduction, but space demands our attention. It is said to be the frontier filled with endless possibilities and mysteries that could reshape the understanding of space itself. But here's one thing that might surprise you. Despite all our advancements, we've only discovered about 5% of space. Now, whether that's a lot or little depending on how you look at it, consider this. We've explored roughly the same amount of our oceans in our atmosphere, yet the comparison between the two is unimaginably vast. If we've barely searched and scratched the surface of our own planet's exploration, what does it say about the exploration of the universe? And as though these may sound as roadblocks, as the brilliant Neil Armstrong once said, one small step for man and is another one giant leap for mankind. In 2009, NASA launched the Kepler Space Telescope, which has discovered thousands of exoplanets, some of which could potentially harbor life, but only about 2 to 12 show the most positive results of hosting life. Imagine it, planets light years away similar to Earth's that could potentially be your next home. The closest one being Proxima Centauri b, with just 4 light years away from us. But don't be fooled by the word just. That's equivalent to about 40,000 Earth years or 30 trillion kilometers with our current technology. These discoveries open a universe of possibilities. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic aren't just dreaming, they're actively working to make this a reality. Imagine a future where taking a trip to space is as common as hopping on a plane today. The idea of space tourism and even colonization doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. And as crazy as this may sound, we still need the technological advancements to take into consideration. But let's bring our focus a little closer to Mars, our neighboring red planet that may seem a little more realistic. It is said to be our potential new home for humanity. Although we are still in the early stages of research, progress is still being made. NASA has found vast amounts of water trapped beneath Mars's crust. Studies showed around 3 billion years ago, Mars had lakes and even oceans on its surface. But as the atmosphere thinned over time, water bodies disappeared, and some obviously went under the layer. Yet the presence of water, even in its frozen state, is a promising sign, as water has been recognized to be as an ingredient of life. And its discovery is just one step to making Mars a little bit more habitable. But how far are we willing to make these possibilities a reality? Mars, with all its potential, faces significant challenges, one of which being its thin and frigid atmosphere that aren't suitable for life at all. But let's enter Elon Musk, a space enthusiast with a bold and controversial idea, which is detonating nuclear bombs over Mars's polar ice caps in hopes of releasing carbon dioxide, thereby thinning the atmosphere and warming the planet. At first glance, this solution seems radical, raising immediate scientific, ethical, and legal concerns to many. Yet some researchers are arguing that as improbable as it may sound, this approach could actually work at converting Mars into a more habitable environment. But as we dream of new worlds and endless possibilities, we must ask ourselves, should we be prioritizing life outside than helping our own? This question is not only about science and technology, but also about values and priorities. Where do yours stand? Especially since the world as we know it today is not the same as the one we knew a century ago. It is dying and dying slowly. Things like deforestation, global warming, and pollution are just some examples of why change needs to be made. The exploration of space isn't just about finding new frontiers. It's about understanding our place in the universe and securing the future of humanity. As the father of Aeronautics and human spaceflight, Konstantin, the Russian aerospace engineer, once said, "Earth is the cradle of humanity, but one cannot remain the cradle forever." So the change we make today will impact the change we make tomorrow, and what our children will be having and the next generation will be having. It all depends on the decisions we make now. Thank you.